Get $3 off every order at PlayAsia by using the code Censored.
Hello, this is Jonathan Ballou of Censored Gaming. There have been a lot of games censored recently and in years past, with some getting explanations such as wanting to keep a certain rating. Others, however, have been quite puzzling. With that in mind, I have compiled this list to show what I believe are the top 5 most confusing censorship moments in video games. An honorable mention goes to adding a curtain to the Tharsha bikini scene in Fire Emblem Awakening, which was, for some reason, only done in the US and not Europe and other territories. Now, onto the list. Number 5 goes to the Hydra Blood from Kingdom Hearts 2. In Kingdom Hearts 2, the Hydra from the movie Hercules makes an appearance as a boss. In the Japanese version, the blood was green, but for the English release, they replaced it with dark smoke. This makes the list because the Hercules video game and the movie, both of which were rated for children, kept the green blood intact. The choice to censor it makes little sense given this information. Number 4 goes to the censorship of skin in Street Fighter V. In Street Fighter V, Cammy's default outfit is a bit skin tight, meaning certain features are bound to come into attention. Capcom eventually made an update that took away the nipple, along with other decisions, such as with Rainbow Mika's infamous butt slap being removed during development. This one makes the list because if Capcom was afraid of the character models showing off too much, then why make them like this at all? Plus, it's hard to ignore some other content that could be seen in the same light that was not changed at all, like with certain costumes. However, it becomes easier to understand why the content was censored, given the nature of esports and television executives. You may recall how our Mika user was forced to switch outfits during EVO 2016, for example, which was broadcast live on ESPN. Granted, this is only speculation, but even if this was not the case at all, the other entries are even more confusing than Street Fighter V. Number 3 goes to the Conker remake for the Xbox. The original Conker for the Nintendo 64 contained a lot of mature content, making sure it fit with its M rating, such as a boss made of literal feces, swearing, large breasts on a plant, blood, and far more. Eventually the game made it to the Xbox, but for some reason, the game was censored with many of the offensive dialogue bleeped out, such as the song with the Pooh Monster. It was eventually revealed that Microsoft was responsible for these changes. This one is especially confusing given the Xbox brand's target audience. Whilst back in 2001, Nintendo was widely considered more family-friendly oriented and unlikely to have a game like Conker. One may argue that they wanted to keep a certain rating, but the game was still rated M, and none of the content seemed to border on going into a full adults-only rating. Number 2 belongs to the censorship of skin in Tokyo Mirage Sessions. This is a game that went to great lengths to censor many of the sexual and more provocative elements, whether it be changing bikinis to street clothes, to getting the original Japanese cast back to re-record hundreds of lines of dialogue. Someone clearly wanted to remove these more adult themes, but there are segments of the game where the girls are back in the bikinis. In fact, one boss has breasts initially covered up by black smoke, yet in the boss fight, they can be clearly seen. It was strange to see a ton of effort being put into this, and then suddenly not changing this stuff. It sends a confusing message. And the number 1 choice for the most confusing piece of censorship belongs to replacing swords with sticks in Dragon Ball Fusion. Many things censored here had a focus on removing or blocking stuff like nudity or violence. Yet in my personal opinion, the strangest of all was changing the swords used in Dragon Ball Fusions into sticks. Not wooden swords or anything, just sticks. It is my most confusing censorship for a few reasons. For starters, many of Nintendo's games within the same rating as Dragon Ball Fusions do have swords. Examples include Fire Emblem, Smash Bros., and The Legend of Zelda. This game is also never too graphic to show missing limbs or the like in battle, making this all the more confusing. If the idea was to only get an E rating, then it already failed as it is rated T for teen. The game also features a ton of action already, like characters getting hit with the power pole, being bombarded by energy blasts, and shot with actual guns. It's also rather confusing to see iconic sword users such as Future Trunks without their trademark weapon. The Dragon Ball series is definitely no stranger to censorship or localization changes, yet changing swords to sticks is perhaps one of the most bizarre changes made to the franchise. And that's my list. Think there were more that I missed here? Be sure to list them down below, and we may do more lists like this in the future. This is Jonathan from Censored Gaming, and you take care of yourselves.